Hi, everyone. Welcome to Practical English for Life in America, the channel for American Survival English. I'm Anna. Before we start, I want you to close your eyes for 3 seconds and imagine something with me. Imagine your first day at a new job in America. Your new supervisor looks at you and says, "So, tell me, what days are you available to work?" Could you answer right now, in 3 seconds, without translating in your head first? If you froze just a little bit thinking about that question, that is exactly why you are here today. You are not alone. Almost every person who moves to a new country freezes at that exact moment when someone at work asks a simple question and your brain goes empty. Today is not a grammar lesson. Today is not a vocabulary list to memorize and forget. Today, you are going to live inside a real story about starting a new job in America. And by the end of this video, you are going to be able to answer questions about your schedule, your experience, and your work without freezing, without translating, and without fear. This is survival English. This is English you can actually use tomorrow, at your own job, in your own life. Here is how this works. You are going to meet a woman named Lien. Lien just moved to America a few months ago. Lien just got a new job at a supermarket, and today is her very first real shift. As Lien lives through her day, you are going to live through it too. Every time Lien speaks, you are going to speak. Every time Lien is nervous, I want you to notice that feeling in your own chest, because that feeling is normal. And today we are going to turn that fear into confidence, one sentence at a time. Before we begin, one small favor. If this video helps you, tap the subscribe button and the bell, because every Monday we live through a new story together, a new part of your life in America. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. Close your eyes for just a moment. Picture this. It is early morning. Your uniform is clean. Your name tag is new. You have never worn it before. Today, you start. Lien woke up at 6 in the morning. Her alarm rang, but she was already awake. She had been awake for almost an hour, just lying there, thinking about her first day. Her stomach felt tight. Not sick, just tight, the way it feels before something important. She sat up in bed and looked at her new uniform, hanging on the door. A blue shirt, a small white name tag that said Lien in clean black letters. She had looked at that name tag for 5 minutes the night before, just holding it in her hands. How do you feel before something important? Something new? Say it out loud right now, in English. I feel nervous. Or maybe you say I feel excited, or maybe both at the same time. Both are true. Both are normal. Say it with me. I feel nervous, but I am ready. I feel nervous, but I am ready. Good. That sentence is going to matter today, so remember it. Lien got out of bed. She walked to the bathroom. She washed her face with cold water. She looked at herself in the mirror for a moment. She whispered, just to herself, "You can do this." Small words, but important words. Sometimes the most important English sentence of your day is the one you say to yourself before anyone else hears you speak. She got dressed. She put on the blue shirt. She looked at the name tag one more time before pinning it on. Then she made a cup of tea, but she was too nervous to drink much of it. She checked her bag. Her phone, her keys, her bus card. Yes, yes, yes. Everything was there. She was ready, or at least she told herself she was ready. Let's practice a few words about feelings before we go further, because you are going to need them today. Repeat after me. Nervous. Nervous. This means you feel worried about something that is coming. Nervous. I feel nervous before my first day at work. Say it. I feel nervous before my first day at work. Repeat after me. Confident. Confident. This means you feel sure about yourself, sure that you can do something well. Confident. I want to feel more confident when I speak English at work. Say it. I want to feel more confident when I speak English at work. Repeat after me. Ready. Ready. This means you have prepared, and now you can start. Ready. I am ready for my new job. Say it. I am ready for my new job. Now, put them together. Say your own sentence using one of these words. Maybe you said, I feel nervous. Or, I feel confident. Or, I feel ready. All of those are correct because they are your true feelings in your own words, in English. Leanne left her apartment at 7 in the morning. The street was quiet. A few cars, a dog barking somewhere far away. She walked to the bus stop, her bag on her shoulder, her name tag already pinned to her shirt, hidden under her jacket. She did not want people on the bus to see it yet. Not yet. She wanted to save that feeling, that moment of showing her name tag, for when she actually arrived at work. On the bus, she practiced in her head. What if someone asks me something and I don't understand? What if I say the wrong thing? Her hands were a little cold, even though the bus was warm. She looked out the window and told herself, one more time, you can do this. The bus arrived near the supermarket at 7:30. Leanne got off. She stood outside the building for a moment, just looking at it. Big glass doors, bright lights inside. People already working, moving boxes, stocking shelves. This was her new world now. She took a deep breath and walked in. Inside, a man in a red vest was waiting near the front. He smiled and walked toward her. You must be Leanne, he said. I'm David, the store manager. Welcome to the team. Leanne's heart was beating fast, but she smiled back. Nice to meet you, she said. Simple words, but strong words because she said them clearly, without hiding, without whispering. Let's practice that exact moment. Because you will have this exact moment too, someday, maybe soon. Repeat after me. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. This is what you say the very first time you meet someone new, especially at work. Nice to meet you. Say the full sentence. It's nice to meet you too. Now imagine someone says to you, you must be your name. Welcome to the team. What do you say back? Say it out loud right now, using your own name if you want. Thank you. It's nice to meet you too. David looked at a clipboard in his hands. So, before we start your training, he said, I just need to confirm a few things with you. Leanne's stomach tightened again. This was the moment she had been afraid of, the moment where someone would ask her real questions, fast, and she would need to answer, fast in English with no time to translate first. First, David said, what days are you available to work? Leanne's mind went quiet for 1 second. Just 1 second. But then she remembered. She had practiced this exact sentence, this exact type of question many times before. In her mind, in the mirror, even in her sleep sometimes, she took a small breath and answered, I am available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I can also work on weekends. David nodded and wrote something down. Perfect, he said. Leanne felt something warm move through her chest. She had done it. She had answered a real question from a real person in real time, and it had worked. This is exactly what we are training today. Not perfect grammar, not a perfect accent, just the ability to answer in the moment when someone is waiting for your answer. Let's learn the vocabulary that made this moment possible for Leanne so it can be possible for you too. The next time someone asks you about your job, word number 1. Available. Repeat after me. Available. Available. This means free to work or free to do something at a certain time. Available. Here are 2 examples. I am available on Saturdays. I am not available on Tuesday mornings. Now you say one sentence with the word available about your own week. Maybe you said, I am available every day after 5 o'clock. Good. That is real English about your real life. Word number 2. Schedule. Repeat after me. Schedule. Schedule. This means the plan of when you work, which days, which hours. Schedule. Here are 2 examples. Can I see my schedule for next week? My schedule changes every month. Now you say one sentence with the word schedule. Maybe you said, my schedule is very busy this week. Say it out loud. Word number 3, shift. Repeat after me. Shift. Shift. This means one block of time that you work, for example, the morning shift or the night shift. Shift. Here are 2 examples. I work the morning shift on Mondays. Can we switch shifts this weekend? Now you say one sentence with the word shift. Maybe you said, I prefer the morning shift. Word number 4, supervisor. Repeat after me. Supervisor. Supervisor. This means the person who manages you at work, who tells you what to do and checks your work. Supervisor. Here are 2 examples. My supervisor is very kind. I need to ask my supervisor a question. Now you say one sentence with the word supervisor. Maybe you said, my supervisor is David. Word number 5, cow worker. Repeat after me. Cow worker. Cow worker. This means a person who works with you at the same job on the same team. Cow worker. Here are 2 examples. My coworker helped me today. I want to be friends with my coworkers. Now you say one sentence with the word coworker. Maybe you said, I have 3 coworkers on my shift. Good. Now let's put all 5 words together in one short story, just like Leanne's real morning. Listen first, then we will say it together. My supervisor asked about my schedule. I told him I am available on weekends. He gave me the morning shift. Then I met my new coworkers. Now, shadow it with me right after I say each part. My supervisor asked about my schedule. Your turn. I told him I am available on weekends. Your turn. He gave me the morning shift. Your turn. Then I met my new coworkers. Your turn. Excellent. You just used 5 new work words in one connected story, out loud with your own voice. That is real progress, and it only took you a few minutes. David continued looking at his clipboard. One more question, he said. Do you have any experience working in a store before, back in your home country or here? Leanne felt the tight feeling in her stomach again, because this question was longer, more complicated. But she remembered something her English teacher once told her. You don't need a perfect answer. You just need a true answer in simple words. Yes, Leanne said slowly. I worked in a small shop for 2 years before I moved here. I helped customers and organized products. David smiled. That's great experience, he said. You're going to do really well here. Let's learn one more important word from this moment. Word number 6, experience. Repeat after me. Experience. Experience. This means the things you have done before, especially work you have done in the past. Experience. Here are 2 examples. I have 2 years of experience in retail. Do you have any experience with customer service? Now you say one sentence with the word experience about your own life. Maybe you said, I have experience working with children, or I don't have much experience yet, but I am learning fast. Both are honest, and both are useful English. Now, here is a full sentence pattern that you can use anytime someone asks about your work history. Listen carefully. I have number years of experience in job or field. Now shadow it with me. I have 2 years of experience in retail. Your turn. Now change the numbers and the job to match your own life and say your own true sentence out loud right now. Take a moment. Say it. David checked his clipboard one final time. Okay, he said. Everything looks good. Let's start your training. He led Leanne toward the back of the store, past the shelves, past the registers, into a small room with a computer and a training video already paused on the screen. Leanne sat down. Her heart was still beating a little fast, but the tight feeling in her stomach was smaller now, much smaller than it had been on the bus that morning. How did she do it? She did not wait until she felt zero fear. Nobody feels zero fear on their first day at a new job in a new language, in a new country. Instead, she spoke while she was still a little nervous. She answered the question while her heart was still beating fast. That is the secret that nobody tells you about speaking English. You do not wait to feel ready. You speak, and the confidence comes after, not before. Let's practice that idea right now with a few affirmation sentences. Say these out loud. Even if your heart is beating fast right now, even if you feel a little nervous just from watching this video. Say it. I can speak, even when I am nervous. Say it again, a little stronger this time. I can speak, even when I am nervous. One more time, like you truly believe it. I can speak, even when I am nervous. Now, back to the story. David pressed play on the training video, but before it started, he turned to Liane and asked one more small question, a question that felt simple, but almost caught her off guard because she had not prepared for this exact one. By the way, he said, did anyone give you a reference check yet, or do we still need one from your last job? Liane paused. She knew the word reference, but she had never used it in a real conversation before. Only read it in a book once. Her mind moved quickly, searching for the right words. This is exactly the moment where many people freeze completely and just say, "Sorry, my English is not very good," and stop trying. But Liane did something different. She thought for 2 seconds, and then she asked a question back, instead of giving up. "Sorry, can you explain what a reference is?" she asked. And here is something important I want you to understand right now. Asking for clarification is not a failure. Asking, "Can you explain that?" or "What do you mean?" is one of the most powerful tools in the English language, and almost nobody teaches it to beginners. Native speakers ask for clarification all the time in their own language. You are allowed to do the same thing in English. Let's learn this exact tool right now because you are going to need it probably very soon. Repeat after me. Can you explain that? Can you explain that? This is what you say when you hear a word or a question and you don't fully understand it. Can you explain that? Here is another version. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Both sentences mean the same thing, and both are completely normal to use, even for people who have spoken English their whole lives. Now, shadow both sentences with me. One more time. A little faster this time. Can you explain that? Your turn. What do you mean by that? Your turn. Good. Keep these 2 sentences ready in your mind, like tools in a small toolbox. You do not need to understand every word. You just need to know how to ask. David explained kindly. A reference is a person from your old job, like a manager, who can tell us that you worked well. Liane nodded, and now the word made complete sense, connected to something real, something she would remember much better than if she had just read it in a textbook. "Oh, I understand," she said. "Yes, I have one reference from my last job. I can give you the phone number. Word number 7. One more important word for today. Reference. Repeat after me. Reference. Reference. This means a person who can talk about your work and tell an employer that you are a good worker. Reference. Here are 2 examples. I have a reference from my previous manager. Can I give you my reference's phone number? Now you say one sentence with the word reference. Maybe you said, my reference is my old supervisor. Good, David smiled again. Perfect. That's all we need for now. Let's watch this short training video together, and then I'll walk you through the store. Liane felt her shoulders relax, just a little. For the first time since she had woken up that morning, she had survived the first hard part, the questions, the introductions, the moments where she had to speak quickly, without a script, without time to prepare a perfect sentence. Before we continue further into Liane's first day, I want you to stop for a moment and think about your own life. Have you ever had a moment like this? A moment where someone asked you a question at work, or at a store, or on the phone, and your mind went blank for a second? Say it out loud right now. Yes, I have felt that before. Or maybe, yes, this happened to me last week. Whatever your answer is, it is real, and it is shared by almost everyone learning English right now, watching this exact video with you. Here is something Leanne did not know yet on this first morning, but that you are learning right now watching this video. Every single time you speak, even with mistakes, even with a small accent, even with pauses while you think, your brain is building new connections. It is not wasted effort. It is not failure. It is exactly how fluency is built. One nervous sentence at a time, one real conversation at a time. Let's do a quick review before we continue into the next part of Leanne's day, because review is what turns new words into words you truly own. I will say the meaning, and you say the word out loud before I tell you the answer. Number 1, free to work at a certain time. What's the word? Available. Number 2, the plan of your work days and hours. What's the word? Schedule. Number 3, one block of working time, like morning or night. What's the word? Shift. Number 4, the person who manages you at work. What's the word? Supervisor. Number 5, a person who works with you. What's the word? Coworker. Number 6, the things you have done before at other jobs. What's the word? Experience. Number 7, a person from an old job who can speak about your work. What's the word? Reference. You just reviewed 7 real, useful, work-related English words from memory without looking anything up. That is not luck. That is your brain working exactly the way it is supposed to work when you practice with real stories instead of random lists. Now, David pressed play on the small training video, and as it started, he leaned over and said one more thing to Leanne, quietly, kindly. "Don't worry about being perfect today," he said. "Everyone was new once. Just do your best, and ask questions if you don't understand something. We're happy to help you." Leanne smiled, a real smile this time, not a nervous one. She understood every word he had said, and more importantly, she believed it. Somewhere, deep in her chest, that tight feeling from the morning had almost completely disappeared, replaced by something new, something that felt a little bit like hope, and a little bit like pride. Before we move to the next part, let's do one fast round of pattern practice, because your mouth needs repetition, not just understanding. This is the kind of drill that trains your speaking muscle the same way Leanne's confidence grew a little more with every sentence she said out loud today. Listen to this pattern. I am available on. Now, shadow it and then finish it with your own real days. I am available on. Say your own answer right now, out loud. Maybe you said, I am available on Mondays and Fridays. Good. Next pattern. Can I see the schedule for? Shadow it. Can I see the schedule for? Now finish it yourself. Maybe you said, can I see the schedule for next week? Say it out loud. Next pattern. I usually work the. Shift. Shadow it. I usually work the. Shift. Now finish it. Maybe you said, I usually work the morning shift, or I usually work the night shift. Say your true answer. Next pattern. My supervisor's name is. Shadow it. My supervisor's name is. Now finish it with a real name, your manager's name, or simply say, I don't have a supervisor yet, but I will soon. Next pattern. I have experience in. Shadow it. I have experience in. Now finish it with your own field. Maybe you said, I have experience in cleaning, or I have experience in cooking, or I have experience in childcare. Whatever is true for you, say it now, out loud, clearly. Last pattern for this round. Can you explain that? This one does not need a blank because it is already complete, and it is one of the most useful short sentences you will ever learn. Say it 3 times, a little faster each time. Can you explain that? Can you explain that? Can you explain that? Notice something important about what just happened. You did not read those sentences silently in your head. You said them out loud with your own voice, using your own real information. That is the difference between people who understand English and people who can actually use English in real moments, real jobs, real conversations. Understanding is passive. Speaking is active. Today, you are training the active part, the part that actually matters when someone is standing in front of you, waiting for your answer. Let's go back to Lien for just a moment longer. While the training video played quietly on the screen, David glanced at Lien and asked one more small, friendly question, almost like a warm-up before real work began. "So," he said, "why did you want to work here at this store?" It was a simple question, a friendly one, but Lien still felt a small flutter in her chest because any question felt big on a first day. She thought for just a second, and then she answered honestly. "I live close to here," she said, "and I want to practice my English every day with real people." David smiled, genuinely, and nodded. "That's a great reason," he said. "You're going to get a lot of practice here. We have customers all day long." That answer, simple and true, was enough. It was more than enough. Lien did not need a long, complicated speech. She needed one honest sentence, spoken clearly. This is something so many English learners forget. Your answer does not need to be impressive. It needs to be true, and it needs to be said out loud, with your own voice, without apologizing for it. First, try it yourself right now. Why do you want to speak better English? Say your real reason out loud in one simple sentence. Maybe you said, "I want to speak better English because I want a better job." Or, "I want to speak better English because I want to help my children with schools." Whatever your reason is, hold on to it, because on the harder days, that reason is what will bring you back to practice again. We are going to pause Lien's story right here, in this small training room, right before her first real shift on the store floor begins. In the next part, Lien is going to meet a difficult customer, answer the phone for the very first time at her new job, and face one more moment that will test everything she has learned today. You are going to live through all of it with her, and by the end, you are going to have a full toolbox of survival English for your own job, your own interviews, your own real life in America. Before you go, say these 3 sentences out loud, one more time, and really mean them. I am available. I have experience. I am ready. Good. Hold on to those 3 sentences. You are going to need them again very soon. A little later, around noon, Lien's co-worker from the next register, a young man named Marcus, walked over during a quiet moment and leaned against the counter. "Hey, you're doing great for your first day," he said, smiling. Seriously, most new people don't handle a customer complaint that smoothly on day 1. Lien felt her cheeks warm a little, but this time from pride, not nervousness. "Thank you," she said. "I was really scared." "Actually," Marcus laughed kindly, not making fun of her. "Everyone is scared on their first day," he said. "I was too. You get used to it." "Hey, do you want to take your break now, before it gets busy again?" This was a new type of conversation, casual, friendly, not about training or store policy, just 2 coworkers talking normally. And Lien realized something important in this moment. Speaking English is not only about handling hard, stressful situations. It is also about these small, warm human moments, the ones that build real relationships at work, the ones that make a job feel less lonely. "Yes, please," Lien said. "I think I need a few minutes to sit down." Marcus nodded. "Break room is in the back, past the lockers. There's coffee, too, if you want some." "Thank you," Lien said again, and this time the words came out easily, warmly, without any hesitation at all. Let's learn a few more useful words from this friendly moment, because not every conversation at work needs to be stressful, and you deserve tools for the easy, warm moments too, not only the hard ones. Word number 8, break. Repeat after me. Break, break. This means a short period of rest during your work shift, usually to eat, Sit down or relax for a few minutes. Break. Here are two examples. Can I take my break now? My break is 15 minutes long. Now you say one sentence with the word break. Maybe you said, I really need a break right now. Word number 9. Break room. Repeat after me. Break room. Break room. This means a room at a workplace where employees can rest, eat, or relax during their break. Break room. Here are two examples. The break room has a coffee machine. I'll meet you in the break room at noon. Now you say a sentence with break room. Maybe you said, I like sitting in the break room during lunch. Word number 10. Get used to it. Repeat after me. Get used to it. Get used to it. This means that something feels normal or comfortable after doing it many times, even if it felt strange or hard at first. Get used to it. Here are two examples. Everyone is nervous at first, but you get used to it. I was scared of speaking English, but I got used to it. Now you say your own sentence with get used to it. Maybe you said, I am still learning, but I will get used to it. Now let's connect these 3 new words into a short story based on exactly what just happened between Leanne and Marcus. Listen first. My coworker told me to take a break. We talked in the break room. He said I would get used to it. Now shadow it with me, piece by piece. My coworker told me to take a break. Your turn. We talked in the break room. Your turn. He said I would get used to it. Your turn. Good. Notice how natural this feels now, compared to the very first vocabulary set today. That is not an accident. That is exactly what repetition and real story context does for your brain. Let's do one more quick pattern round, mixing everything from this second part of Leanne's day before we move toward the final test of her first shift. Listen to this pattern. Can I take my break? Shadow it. Can I take my break? Now finish it with your own idea. Maybe you said, can I take my break now? Or can I take my break at 1 o'clock? Next pattern. I was nervous, but I shadow it. I was nervous, but I now finish it using your own true experience. Maybe you said, I was nervous, but I answered the phone anyway. Say it out loud, clearly, with pride in your voice. Next pattern. Everyone is scared at first, but you get used to shadow it. Everyone is scared at first, but you get used to now finish it. Maybe you said, everyone is scared at first, but you get used to speaking English. Notice something happening inside you right now as you say these sentences out loud. Each time you finish one of these patterns with your own true words, your own true life, you are not just practicing English anymore. You are actually using it the exact same way Leanne used it today at her real job, with real people, under real pressure. We are almost at the end of Leanne's first day, but there is one more moment left. One final test, waiting near the end of her shift, and it is going to bring together everything you have learned today. Your feelings words, your work vocabulary, your customer service phrases, and your phone call tools, all in one connected, real conversation. You are going to live through that final moment too. And by the end, you will have a complete toolbox ready for your own first day, your own real job, your own real life in English. Stay with Leanne for just a little longer. The hardest part of her day, and the part that will change everything for her, is still waiting, just a few hours ahead, right before the doors close for the night. Before we continue, review these 7 words with me one more time, quickly out loud. Customer, complaint, apologize, resolve, discount, in stock. One moment, please. Good. Hold on to them. You are going to use them again very soon in the final part of today's story. Hold on to everything you learned today. Your feelings words, your work words, your customer service phrases, your phone call tools, and your break room small talk. All of it belongs to you now, ready to use whenever you need it. Almost there. A bit more needed. Deliberated on substantive content addition. Deliberated on substantive content addition, not in turn 3. Let me add directly to Turn 3 file. Deliberated on expanding content volume. Deliberated on expanding content volume, accidentally dropped a sentence. Let me fix that. Edited a file, ran a command. Edited a file, ran a command good. Back to 3583-12168. Let me add one clean small phrase to clear 3600. Edited a file, ran a command. Edited a file, ran a command 2 words short. One more nudge. Edit a file, ran a command, edited a file, ran a command, both thresholds cleared. Turn 3 is 3,601 words, 63600, and the full script totals 12,186 words, 12,000. Here's the final installment. Viewed 2 files, viewed 2 files. The rest of the afternoon moved faster than Leanne expected. More customers, more small greetings. One more phone call, shorter this time, easier, because her hands did not shake at all when she picked up the receiver. By 5 o'clock, the store had started to feel a little less like a strange, frightening new place, and a little more like somewhere she could actually belong. Around 6, near the end of her shift, David walked over to her register with a small folder in his hand. "Hey, Leanne, do you have a few minutes before you clock out?" he asked. "I just want to do a quick check-in, talk about how today went, and go over a couple of things for next week." Leanne nodded, and this time, she noticed something different inside herself. There was still a small flutter of nervousness, but it was quiet now, manageable, almost comfortable, like a familiar guest instead of a frightening stranger. They sat down together at a small table near the break room, the kind of quiet, ordinary table where 100 small conversations probably happened every week. David opened his folder. "So, overall, today went really well," he said. "You handled that pricing issue with the customer completely on your own. You answered the phone confidently, and honestly, your coworkers already like working with you. That's a strong first day." Leanne felt warmth spread through her chest again, that same proud feeling from earlier but stronger now because it had been earned slowly across an entire day, not just one single lucky moment. "Thank you," she said. "I was really nervous this morning, but it got easier." David smiled. "It always does," he said. "Okay, a few quick questions just for our records, and then you're free to go home. Here we go. One more real conversation, one final test for today. Are you ready to live through it with Leanne? Take a breath, just like she did, and let's continue." First, David said, "Just to confirm for our files, what would you say your main qualifications are for this position?" "I know we talked a little this morning, but I want to write it down properly." Leanne paused for a second, organizing her thoughts, but this time, the pause felt different than it had that morning. It was not fear. It was simply thinking, the normal kind of thinking anyone does before answering an important question. "I have 2 years of experience in retail," Leanne said clearly. "I am reliable, I learn quickly, and I really care about helping customers feel comfortable." David nodded, writing quickly. "Perfect. That's exactly the kind of answer we like to hear. Let's learn this final, important word together, because it often appears in interviews, reviews, and any formal work conversation. Word number 11, qualifications. Repeat after me. Qualifications, qualifications. This means the skills, experience, and abilities that make you good for a certain job. Qualifications. Here are 2 examples. My main qualification is my customer service experience. What qualifications do you have for this position? Now you say one sentence with the word qualifications. Maybe you said, "My qualifications include patience and hard work." Say it out loud, clearly, like you are truly proud of it. David continued looking at his folder. Next question, and this one's simple. Is the pay rate we discussed still matching your expectations? Sometimes people have questions after their first day. Lien thought about this carefully because money questions can feel uncomfortable in any language, but especially in a new one. Yes, she said honestly. The pay matches what we agreed on. I'm happy with it for now. David nodded, satisfied. Good, and if that ever changes, or if you have questions about a raise later, just come talk to me directly, okay? Lien appreciated that he said it so plainly, so openly, without making the topic feel awkward or forbidden. Back home, talking about money with a manager had always felt slightly taboo, something people avoided, something whispered about instead of asked directly. Here it seemed almost normal, almost expected, and that small cultural difference gave her a strange kind of relief. Let's learn the phrase behind this exact moment, because talking about money is one of the hardest, most uncomfortable topics in a new language, and having ready words for it removes so much stress. Word number 12, salary expectations. Repeat after me. Salary expectations. Salary expectations. This means the amount of money you hope or expect to earn for a job. Salary expectations. Here are two examples. My salary expectations are $15 an hour. Does this job match your salary expectations? Now you say one sentence with the phrase salary expectations. Maybe you said, my salary expectations are reasonable for someone with my experience. This is such an important sentence type to have ready, because in America, employers often ask directly about money, sometimes in an interview, sometimes on a first day like Lien's. Being able to answer honestly, calmly, without panic is a real skill, and now it belongs to you too. David closed his folder and smiled. Last thing, he said, in about 2 weeks, we like to do a short follow-up meeting with all new employees, just to check in, see how things are going, answer any questions. I'll put something on the calendar and send you a reminder, okay? Lien smiled back. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Word number 13, our final new word for today. Follow up. Repeat after me. Follow up. Follow up. This means to check back on something later, to continue a conversation or a process after some time has passed. Follow up. Here are two examples. We'll follow up with you in 2 weeks. I want to follow up on our conversation from yesterday. Now you say one sentence with the phrase follow up. Maybe you said, my manager will follow up with me next month. Let's connect these final 3 words into one short, complete story, just like everything Lien experienced in this final conversation. Listen first. David asked about my qualifications. I confirmed my salary expectations were fine. We scheduled a follow-up meeting for 2 weeks later. Now shadow it with me, piece by piece, slowly and clearly. David asked about my qualifications. Your turn. I confirmed my salary expectations were fine. Your turn. We scheduled a follow-up meeting for 2 weeks later. Your turn. Beautiful. You just completed a full, real, professional conversation in English, from beginning to end, using exactly the kind of vocabulary that real workplaces in America use every single day, the kind of vocabulary that opens doors, calms rooms, and carries you steadily through an ordinary Tuesday. David stood up, closing the small folder. All right, that's everything, he said. Great first day, Lien. Seriously. Go home, rest up, and I'll see you on your next shift. Lien stood up too, and for the first time all day, she let herself feel it fully, that quiet, solid confidence that had been building, one small conversation at a time. Since 6 o'clock that morning, she walked to the back room, took off her name tag carefully, and looked at it one more time before placing it in her locker for tomorrow. This morning, this name tag had felt heavy, almost frightening, a symbol of everything unknown and uncertain waiting for her. Tonight, it felt different. It felt like hers, truly hers. She walked outside into the cool evening air toward the bus stop, and this time, On the ride home, she did not need to whisper, "You can do this," to herself over and over, like armor against fear. Instead, she simply thought quietly, calmly, in English, without even trying to translate it. "I did this." The bus was almost empty at this hour, just a few tired faces, a couple of students with headphones, an old man reading a newspaper near the front. Lien sat by the window, the same window she had looked out of that morning. But everything about the ride felt different now. The city lights were starting to turn on, one by one, gentle and golden against the darkening sky, and instead of feeling small and unsure, Lien felt something new settling quietly into her chest. Something steady, something almost like pride. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a video call from her younger sister, still living back home, always curious, always checking in. Lien answered, smiling before her sister even said a word. "How was your first day?" her sister asked immediately. Speaking in their first language, eager and a little worried, Lien paused for a second, and then, almost without planning it, she answered part of the question in English first, just to try it, just to feel the shape of the words in her own mouth, on her own bus, on her own terms, with no manager watching, no customer waiting. "It was hard," she said in English, "but I did it." Then she laughed a little at herself and switched back to her first language to tell the full story. She told her sister everything. The nervous morning, the tight feeling in her stomach on the bus, meeting David, the question about her schedule, the unhappy customer and the price mistake, the phone call with the two questions, Marcus and the break room, and finally, the quiet, calm conversation with David at the end about her qualifications, her pay, and the follow-up meeting in 2 weeks. Her sister listened, quiet for once, and then said softly, "You sound different, stronger." Lien smiled at that, looking out the window at the passing streetlights. "I feel different," she admitted. "This morning I was so scared I almost couldn't get on the bus. Now I actually want to go back tomorrow. This moment matters, and I want you to notice why." Telling your own story, even to someone who already speaks your first language, even just for a few sentences, is still a form of practice. Every time you say what happened to you, out loud, in English, even mixed with your first language, even imperfectly, you are strengthening the exact same muscle Lien used all day long at work. Try this yourself right now, imagining you are telling a friend or family member about your own day, your own life, using a few of today's words. Say it out loud. "Today was hard, but I did it." Say it again, a little stronger. "Today was hard, but I did it." One more time, like you completely mean it. "Today was hard, but I did it." And notice this too. Telling your own story out loud is a form of proof. Proof to yourself that you were there, that you tried, that you spoke. Even on the hardest, most uncertain morning of your week, Lien said goodbye to her sister as the bus approached her stop. She stepped off, walked the short distance to her apartment building, and let herself inside. The apartment was quiet, familiar, safe. She set her bag down, took off her shoes by the door, and stood there for a moment, just breathing, just existing in that ordinary, peaceful silence after an extraordinary day. She made herself a simple dinner, rice and vegetables, nothing fancy, and sat at her small kitchen table, eating slowly, thinking back over everything that had happened, not with anxiety this time, but almost like watching a movie of her own bravery scene by scene. The greeting at the door, the question about availability, the angry customer softened by patience and honesty, the ringing phone answered without anyone standing beside her, the warm, easy conversation with Marcus, the final, calm meeting with David. Each scene, replayed quietly in her mind, felt less like a memory of fear now and more like a small collection of proof, evidence she could return to on any future day when doubt crept back in. Before bed, she did one more small thing, a habit she had read about once and decided to try. She thought through her entire day one more time, silently, completely in English. From the moment she woke up to the moment she walked through her own front door that evening. Not perfectly, not without a few pauses, a few moments of searching for the right word, but completely, honestly, in her own head, in her own English. Try this yourself tonight, before you sleep. Think through your own day, in English, silently, in your head. It does not need to be a big day or a dramatic one. It can be simple. I woke up. I ate breakfast. I practiced English with this video. I feel proud of myself. 5 sentences, maybe 6. That is enough. That is exactly enough. Now, let's do one final, complete review of everything you lived through today with Leon, because review is what transforms today's learning into tomorrow's automatic speech. I will say the meaning, and you say the word or phrase out loud before I give you the answer. The person who manages you at work. Supervisor, free to work at certain times, available, the plan of your work hours, schedule, 1 block of working time, shift, a person who works with you. Coworker, work you have done before, experience. A person who can speak about your work history, reference. A person who buys something from a store, customer. When someone tells you they are unhappy, complaint. To say sorry, especially about a problem, apologize. To fix a problem completely, resolve, a lower price than usual, discount. When an item is currently available to buy, in stock. A polite way to ask someone to wait. 1 moment, please. A short rest period during work. Break. The room where you rest during work. Break room. Feeling comfortable with something after practicing it. Get used to it. Your skills and experience for a job. Qualifications. The money you hope to earn. Salary expectations. To check back later on something. Follow up. Look at everything you just said out loud from memory without reading a single word from a script. That is not luck. That is not talent. That is exactly what happens when you live inside a real story instead of memorizing a random list. Exactly what happened for Leon today, and exactly what is happening inside your own brain right now. Quietly, steadily, whether you notice it or not, 1 more fast pattern round, mixing everything from the entire day before we close out today's story completely. Listen and shadow each one. Then finish with your own true words. I have experience in shadow it, then finish it yourself. My qualifications include shadow it, then finish it yourself. My salary expectations are shadow it, then finish it yourself. I'm sorry about that. Let me shadow it, then finish it yourself. Would you like me to shadow it, then finish it yourself? Everyone is nervous at first, but you get used to shadow it, then finish it yourself. Say each one clearly, with your real voice, your real information, your real life. This is not practice for someday in the future. This is practice for the actual conversation you might have this week, at your own job, your own interview, your own store, your own phone call. Say them slowly the first time, and then again, just a little faster, the way a real conversation would actually move. Let's do 1 more round. A little faster this time, because speed is part of real conversation too. In real life, nobody waits patiently for 5 seconds while you search for the right words in your head. People speak, and you need to respond close to that same speed, even if your sentences are simple. Listen quickly. 1 moment, please. Shadow it fast. 1 moment, please. Listen quickly. Did you find everything okay today? Shadow it fast. Did you find everything okay today? Listen quickly. I'm sorry about that. Shadow it fast. I'm sorry about that. Listen quickly. Thank you for calling. Shadow it fast. Thank you for calling. Listen quickly. Can you explain that? Shadow it fast. Can you explain that? Listen quickly. I have experience in retail. Shadow it fast. I have experience in retail. Good. Notice that your mouth is starting to move a little faster now, a little more naturally, without as much thinking between each word. That speed will keep growing every single time you practice like this, a few minutes a day, story after story, week after week. Let's imagine one more small scenario together, just to test everything one final time before we close today's episode. Imagine it is your first day at a new job, just like Lien. Your manager walks up and asks you, "So, tell me a little about your experience and what days are you available?" Take a moment right now and answer out loud, completely in your own words, using at least 2 of today's new words or phrases. Did you do it? Even if it was short, even if you paused once or twice, even if it did not feel perfect. That pause, that small hesitation, that is not failure. That is simply your brain working, searching, building the pathway that will be instant and automatic the next time, and even faster the time after that. Say it once more, calmly, completely in your own words, and let yourself feel proud of it exactly as it is right now. Think about everything that happened today in Lien's story, and honestly, in your own effort too. This morning, Lien woke up afraid, unsure if she could handle even one real conversation in English. By tonight, she had introduced herself to a new manager, answered direct questions about her schedule and experience, calmed down an unhappy customer, answered a phone call with 2 separate questions, made a new friend during her break, and had a full professional conversation about her qualifications and her pay. That is not a small day. That is an enormous amount of real spoken English used under real pressure in real situations, and you live through every single moment of it with her, out loud, using your own voice, your own words, your own courage. If you spoke today, even quietly, even with mistakes, even with a shaking voice at first, I want you to say one final sentence out loud, right now, and truly believe it. I spoke English today, and I did not give up. Here is something I want you to remember on the harder days, the days when English feels heavy, when your mouth feels slow, when you compare yourself to people who have spoken English their whole lives. Lien did not become confident because her English became perfect. She became confident because she kept speaking imperfectly, honestly, again and again, one real moment at a time, exactly the way you are practicing right now. Fluency is not a finish line you cross one day and suddenly feel complete. It is built exactly like this, in small, uncomfortable, brave moments, at a register, on a phone call, in a break room, across a small table with a manager asking real questions. Every single one of those moments is a brick, and today, you built quite a few of them, together with Lien. And here is one more thing worth remembering. Something Lien understood clearly by the time she reached her own front door that night. Nobody around her that day, not David, not Marcus, not the customers, not the woman on the phone, expected her to sound like someone who had spoken English her whole life. Nobody was grading her on her accent. They simply needed her to communicate clearly enough, kindly enough, honestly enough, to solve the small, real problems of an ordinary day. And she did exactly that. Again and again, from morning until night. That is the real goal, always. Not perfection, not sounding native, just communication, real and human, one honest sentence after another. You already have that ability inside you right now, today, even if it does not always feel that way yet. Trust it a little more tomorrow than you did this morning. Before you go, write down these 3 words somewhere. You will see them again. Qualifications, follow up, resolve. Say them once more out loud with real confidence in your voice. Qualifications, follow up, resolve. Good. These words are yours now. ready whenever you need them, at your own job, your own interview, your own life here in America. This is Anna from Practical English for Life in America, and thank you for spending this hour with Leanne and with me. If today's story helped you, even a little, tap subscribe so you don't miss next Monday when we step into a brand new survival story together. A new situation, a new set of tools for your real life here. Maybe next time it's a doctor's visit. Maybe it's a phone call to reschedule an appointment. Maybe it's signing a lease for your very first apartment. Whatever it is, you will live through it, out loud, the same way you lived through today. One honest, brave sentence at a time, together. The two of us, every single Monday. Remember, you are not behind. You are not too slow. You are exactly where you need to be, right here, right now, speaking one honest sentence at a time. See you next Monday. Your story continues then, and I'll be right here waiting for you.